Thousands of years ago, there was a philosopher in China named Zhuangzi. One night, he had a dream that he had become a butterfly. He was flying around like a butterfly, dancing in the air, and he was having so much fun that he forgot that he was a human being. For him, the butterfly world was completely real. Then suddenly he woke up. He was a human being again, lying on a bed. But now he had a question in his mind that changed his whole life. The question was, am I a human being who just had a dream of becoming a butterfly? Or am I actually a butterfly who is dreaming of becoming a human being? And friends, this question may seem simple to hear, but when you think about it in depth, your mind will go crazy. Because to tell you the truth, neither that philosopher had an answer for it, nor does a scientist have a definite answer for it after 2,500 years. And today's video is all about this question. Is it possible that we are all living in someone's dream? Now I know that many of you must be thinking that this is just a crazy thing. Nothing like that. But wait, because this is not madness. This is a question on which the world's greatest scientists, philosophers, and even neuroscientists are working seriously. And after this video, you will not be able to see your world as before. This is my promise. So let's start. First of all, understand one basic thing. You're watching this video right now. You feel like you're watching the screen of your phone or laptop. You feel like you are sitting in a room. You feel like there are walls around you. There's a roof. Maybe there are sounds coming out of the window. But have you ever thought about who is telling you all this? I mean, who is telling you that the wall is white? Who is telling you that there's a horn coming from outside? The answer is your mind, your brain. You're not looking at the world directly. Your brain is taking signals from the world and making an image out of those signals, making an experience. And that experience seems real to you. Now this is very important. So let's understand it in a little more detail. When you see a red apple, then know what is actually happening. The light is being reflected from the apple. That light is going into your eyes. There are some cells in your eyes that convert that light into electrical signals. Then those electrical signals go into your brain, and your brain processes those signals and tells you that this is red. Now here's a very mind-blowing thing. That red color does not exist outside. There are only light waves in the outside world, which have different frequencies. The red color is made by your brain. That means whatever you see, hear, touch, all this is made by your brain. All this is a construction of your brain. And if this is true, then a very big question arises that who will guarantee that the world that your brain is making is like the real world? And here things get very interesting, because your brain does this every night in a dream. When you're sleeping and dreaming, then you do not know at all that you are in a dream. In a dream, that world seems completely real to you. If someone is following you in a dream, then your heart really beats fast. If you fall in a dream, then you're really scared. If you meet someone in a dream, then you are really happy. That means your brain is making a whole world, characters, story, and all this is so realistic that you do not realize that all this is fake. Now stop here and think. If your brain can make a whole fake world in a dream, which seems 100% real to you, then how do you know that what you are experiencing right now is real and not a dream? I mean, how can you prove right now that you are awake? And I'm not the only one asking this question. About 400 years ago, a very famous philosopher asked this question. His name was René Descartes. Descartes said that whatever I know, whatever I see, whatever I feel, all this can be fake. Maybe a very powerful being is making me experience all this which is not real. And with this thought, Descartes said that famous line which you might have heard, I think therefore I am. He said that everything in the world can be fake. This body can be fake, this sky can be fake, but one thing cannot be fake, and that is, there is someone who is thinking whether all this is fake or not. The one who thinks is real, but only this much is real. It is an illusion. It is not real. Now most people just leave it as a religious thing. But if you look at it carefully, then it is exactly what modern neuroscience is saying. That the world you are seeing is not a direct reality. It is a construction of your mind. Our ancient sages had given a beautiful analogy. He is saying that this whole reality is a product of some consciousness. The whole world is existing in some consciousness. And this idea is as old as it is modern. Because today there's a big debate going on in science, which is called consciousness problem. The question is, where does consciousness come from? I mean, the feeling that you're existing, the experience that red is red, pain is pain, happiness is happiness. How is all this happening? See, Your brain is just a ball of atoms and molecules, a piece of mass of 1,400 grams. Electrical signals are running in it, but how do these electrical signals become an experience? How does the firing of neurons become a feeling? This question is so difficult that scientists call it a hard problem of consciousness. Until now, no one has any answer to it. And here some scientists have come up with a very radical idea. They say that consciousness is not born from the brain. Consciousness is fundamental. Just like gravity is fundamental, space and time are fundamental. Consciousness is also a basic property of the universe. And if this is true, then it means that consciousness came first and matter came later. That is, first there was consciousness, and then consciousness created the whole physical world. And this is the idea that our ancestors used to say that this universe is a dream of some consciousness. Now I know that a lot of people must be thinking that this is just philosophy. What does it have to do with science? So wait, because now I'm going to tell you some scientific experiments that will shake your mind. The first experiment is the double-slit experiment. This is the most famous and most mind-blowing experiment in physics. Understand it in a very simple way. Suppose there is a wall in front of you, and there are two thin slits in that wall. Now you throw very small particles towards that wall like electrons. So normally you will think that the electron will pass through one slit or pass through another slit, and there will be two lines on the back wall. But this does not happen. When no one is seeing which slit the electron is passing through, a wave pattern is formed on the back wall. That is, it feels like the electron has passed through both the slits at once. One particle has passed through two slits at once. This is so strange that when scientists saw this for the first time, they could not believe it. But now the craziest thing is that when scientists put a detector to see which slit the electron is passing through, the electron changed its behavior. Now it was not forming a wave pattern. Now it was behaving like a normal particle and was passing through only one slit. That is, until no one was seeing, the electron was like a wave everywhere at once. But the second someone saw, it became a fixed particle at one place. Now you will find this strange, but it is true, and it has been tested again and again, thousands of times in the last 100 years, and every time the same result comes. Reality is not fixed until no one observes it. And if this is true, it means that reality depends on the observer. That is, reality depends on you. Without the observer, the reality of the observer does not exist, at least in the form that we know it. Now let's connect it with the dream idea. This is what happens in dreams too. As long as you see something in the dream, it exists. When you turn your head from there, that thing may not be there. In the dream, the whole world keeps getting worse with your observation. And quantum physics says that something like this is also happening in the real world. So is it possible that this whole universe is existing from someone's observer? Is it existing from someone's consciousness? Just like a dream only exists until someone sees it. And here it is important to mention another very interesting experiment. It is called the delayed choice experiment. Let's understand it in a simple way. In this experiment, scientists showed that the decision you make today can also affect the past. That is, a photon that has already passed through two slits depends on whether you measure it later or not. It sounds like time travel, but it is real physics. And this experiment suggests that perhaps the past, present, and future are not as fixed as we think. Perhaps time is also an illusion. Perhaps time is also a part of that dream that we are all seeing. Now I want to tell you a very important thing here. A lot of people say that if all this is a dream, then is it my dream? And the answer here may surprise you. Because if this is a dream, then it is not your dream alone. Some scientists and philosophers say that it can be a collective dream. That is, we are all experiencing a shared dream together. Just like millions of people can play the same game on the internet, and the world of that game looks the same for everyone. Similarly, this reality is also a shared experience that many consciousnesses are creating together. And this idea is not just philosophy. Carl Jung, one of the world's most famous psychologists, gave a concept called collective unconscious. Jung said that we all have a layer in our mind that is common to everyone. That is why in different cultures around the world, similar stories, similar symbols, similar dream patterns are found. Like in every culture, there's a creature like a dragon. There's a story of flood in every culture. There's a hero in every culture who goes on a journey. All this is not a coincidence. Maybe it is because we are all connected to the same deeper consciousness. And if this is true, then is this whole universe a dream of the same deeper consciousness? Now let's understand this from another angle. There has been a very fascinating discovery in neuroscience. When scientists scan people's brains, they found that when you imagine something and when you see the thing in real, then almost the same areas of your brain are activated. This means that your brain cannot make much difference between imagination and reality. That is why dreams seem so real. That is why when you watch a scary movie, you know that it is fake, but still your heart beats fast. Because for your brain, the line between real and imagined is very blurred. And this takes us to a very deep question. If the brain cannot make a difference between reality and dream, then how can we say that what we are experiencing now is not a dream? And friends, this is not just a thought experiment. There are some real conditions where people really don't know whether they are in a dream or reality. There's a condition called lucid dreaming. What happens in this is that you are in a dream, but you know that you are in a dream. And when you know this, then you can control your dream. You can turn, you can go anywhere, you can make anything. And in lucid dream, people say that that experience feels more real than reality. Colors are brighter, sounds are clearer, touch is more intense. Now, if a dream can feel more real than reality, then what is the meaning of real? And here I tell you about a physicist who gave a new direction to this debate. His name is John Wheeler. John Wheeler was a student of Albert Einstein, and he gave the word black hole. Wheeler gave an idea, which is called it from bit. It means that this whole physical world, i.e., it is made of information, i.e., made of bits. It means that this whole universe is not made of matter at its basic level, is not made of energy, but is made of information. And if this is true, then this universe is like a dream. Because a dream is also made of information. There is no real matter in a dream. There are no real atoms. There is only information which your brain is processing. And Wheeler says that this whole universe is just information which is being processed by consciousness. And now there is one more very interesting thing which I want to tell you. That is holographic principle. Consider this in a simple way. Suppose you're watching a 3D movie. You feel that everything in front of you is in 3D. Things are coming close and going far. But actually all that is happening on a flat screen, that is all 2D. Your brain is converting that 2D information into 3D. Now some physicists are saying that maybe our whole universe is also like this. Maybe the 3D world we are seeing is actually a projection of encoded information. It means that this whole world, which seems solid and real, can actually be something like a hologram. And this sounds crazy, but this is a serious physics theory which is being researched in the top universities of the world. Now, just think that if this universe is a hologram, if it is made of information, if reality depends on the observer, if our brain is not able to differentiate between dream and reality, then is it so crazy to say that maybe all this is someone's dream? Maybe all this is an experience of some consciousness, and we are a small particle which thinks itself to be different and real. It is just like you are a character in a dream. In a dream, you feel like you are real. There are other people around you who are real. You have problems, happiness, fear, but when you open your eyes, you realize that all that was your mind. All the characters of that dream were made in your mind. The whole world of that dream was inside you. Now, is it possible that this whole universe is also like this? That there's a big consciousness which is dreaming, and we are all the characters of that dream. We are all small particles of that consciousness, which think themselves to be different humans, different animals, different things. But in reality, we are all the same. And this idea is not only in Hindu philosophy. In Buddhism also there's a concept that this world is an illusion. In Sufi tradition also it is said that this world is a veil behind which the real reality is hidden. Aboriginal people of Australia have a concept which is called dream time. They believe that this whole world was made in a dream, and we are still living in that dream. Now, this is very fascinating that different cultures of the world which never met each other are all saying the same thing. That this world is not what it looks like. It is a dream, an illusion, an illusion. And now modern science is also slowly pointing in that direction. But now the biggest question here is that if all this is a dream, then whose dream is this? And this question is so deep that maybe it will never be answered. Because if we are inside a dream, then how can we know the reality is like a video game character trying to know who is the programmer who is coding it? That character cannot see outside the world of his game. For him, the world of his game is the whole reality. But there is one thing which I find the most fascinating. That is, even though we don't know what the reality is, but we are able to ask this question. And asking this question is probably the biggest thing. Because think about it, there are billions of galaxies in this universe. There are billions of stars. There are innumerable planets. But as far as we know, there are only such beings on this small Earth who can ask this question. That is this all real? This universe is billions of years old. But only in the last few thousand years has there been anyone who has been able to look up and ask that what are these stars? Where did all this come from? And what is it? Am I dreaming? And maybe this is the most beautiful part, whether it is a dream or a reality, whether it is a projection of some consciousness or a real physical world. One thing is real, and that is this experience that you're feeling right now. Your thoughts are real. Your questions are real. Your connection is real. This is the experience that you feel from your people. Whether it is made up of atoms, information, or someone's dreams, this experience matters. Because even if it is a dream, it is a very beautiful dream. So the next time you go to sleep at night and dream, stop for a second and think that am I sleeping right now? Or was I sleeping before? Was I awake or was he awake? And maybe you will never get the answer. But asking this question is probably the most important thing. Because the day we stop asking questions, that day we will really sleep. In a sleep that does not wake us up. So friends, this was today's video. I hope that this video has forced you to think something that you never thought before. If you like this video, then like it and share it with your friends. And tell me in the comments what you think. Are we living in someone's dream, or is all this real? I will meet you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself and keep thinking.